I was not expecting episode 1 of Mighty Nein to go this hard. This hit me immediately in the feels in a way that I don't know how to prepare for the rest of this season. Is this what it's going to be like every episode? So how did I feel about episode 1? Did it live up to the hype? And what are my thoughts going into the rest of this season? If you didn't know, Amazon recently dropped episode 1 of Mighty Nein over on their channel, and it is available until tonight at midnight, time of recording. We're filming this on November 16th, Sunday. It's like 5 p.m.-ish right now, and you got a few hours. Potentially when this goes up, you may still have a few hours to watch it if you haven't yet. Before I get into my thoughts on this, I want to know, what is your experience with Critical Role? Is this your first experience? Have you been watching The Legend of Vox Machina? Did you watch the campaigns? And why are you excited about this show? Let me know down in the comments. I had a lot of feelings coming out of episode 1, and I think this episode does a masterful job introducing us to the party, or some of the party anyways. I think the thing that I really love about this series, at least so far, and definitely this episode, is that there is such a fun retrospect to how they're approaching the telling of the story with Mighty Nein. This is essentially what we would know as our Session 0. In Dungeons & Dragons, your Session 0 is often not considered to be part of the campaign, and it is the time when you sit down at the table and discuss, what you want to have in the game, what are some areas that you maybe definitely don't want to go to, so you might X certain areas, you're going to create your characters, you're going to maybe help to inform and build the world for your dungeon master, they're going to be asking you questions, you're going to be building backstories, and this first episode is those backstories, which I think is really cool, because it's going to allow us to already have a sense for who these characters are when we jump right into the beginning of our story. And so in giving us a setup for the characters and seeing how they meet up with each other, because I know when Mighty Nein starts, there are characters that are already together. It's cool because it's building up who these people are so that we can care about them even more. I think for me, the highlight from this first episode has to be Caleb and Nott. I love both of them. I love their relationship that they're developing, where they both are deciding to travel with one another at the end of the episode. And it's very clear that Nott knows some stuff about Caleb that Caleb has not revealed yet. We know that Caleb is wanted for murder, and Nott is aware of this. And while they're trying to figure out what that's about, we still don't know why Caleb is wanted for murder. And Nott is keeping the secret that he is aware of this bounty. Also, considering that I feel, when you're someone that's living on the streets, that's just living on whatever you can find, it would make sense that that bounty might be tempting for Nott. And in fact, in this episode, Nott almost takes out Caleb while Caleb is using his magic to conjure this cat, which I think is supposed to represent Caleb's magic that he's lost, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I haven't watched Critical Role campaigns. Vox Machina was kind of how I got into that world. I know of Critical Role. I know why they're loved and celebrated. I myself am a huge Dungeons & Dragons nerd and have played Dungeons & Dragons for over a decade. So to me, it's a whole world that I already love and that I want to explore. And this is almost just like my gateway into Critical Role, the animated series. And then what I typically do, like what I did with Vox Machina, is I go back and watch some of the campaign while I'm watching the show. So I don't really know what the cat is. Is the cat a person that Caleb lost? Is the cat just a cat that Caleb lost? Still sad. Or is it representative of the connection to magic, which Caleb has lost? And I feel like maybe it's crazy of me to think, but I want to say that Trent Ickathon, who's voiced by Mark Strong here, is potentially Caleb's relative who stole his magic. I don't know. But also Ickathon does seem to be interested in the world of science as well, and already is a very intimidating villain. I don't know if I would classify anyone yet fully as a hero or villain. I feel like all of these characters have a lot going on, but when someone's messing with the fear center in people's minds, that's some villain shit right there. I think the way that we're building up sort of the larger picture of the story as well, the artifact that was stolen from the Bright Queen and her kingdom and what it represents and what it does, there's just a level of mystery here, even in the bigger picture, that draws you in. There's a lot of stories that I just want to know, like, what's going to happen next. I already love Beauregard and her story. The fact that we have Jonathan Frakes here as well as Xenoth, amazing. So I want to know what's going to happen with Beauregard and the monks in terms of them realizing that while they're supposed to be this neutral party that's not attached to anyone politically, they kind of are that. And there are a lot of people that are perhaps doing some insidious things behind the scenes, which Daron is clearly trying to root out and is going to recruit Beauregard to help them in doing so. But I mean, then when you root it out, I wonder, what do you do once you find out that your whole group is corrupt? Who do you tell about that, and how do you go about fixing that? We also finished this episode with the very mysterious Yasha, who I know is voiced by Ashley Johnson. And what a character to sort of get me hyped for the next episode as well. This character that just shows up and is immediately a badass. I'm like, I need to know more. I love that I can also hear some people's voices who are in Vox Machina, because obviously this is another campaign, and so we have some of the same people returning here. That has been really fun, and I love hearing the subtleties of how, with this campaign too, there are some tweaks, because even though their voice is still there underneath the character, these are different characters. So I love that idea of having a group of people that kind of gets to play different casts each time we do a new show. I don't know. I hope Critical Role can just keep this going and we can have a whole universe that's just Critical Role stories and animated series. And I mean, games. I mean, Dispatch also is part of Critical Role now, and that game was amazing. So there's a lot of just great stories that I think Critical Role has told, and a lot that they're doing for the role-playing game and storytelling medium in terms of allowing us to explore what we can create with stories that we make up with our friends around a table. That is beautiful. That is why I love D&D. You make these amazing moments that just exist outside of time almost. They become legendary. And I just can't wait to see, over all the journeys that they've been on as a group, what stories we get to join them on in their adventures as we go, and what legendary moments are brought to us through this animated series. It's really fun to watch as someone that has played Dungeons and Dragons, because there are just moments where you can imagine how that went at the table, and then that's when I love to go back. The animation in this show is also freaking phenomenal. I think it looks so good. It looks good. It sounds good. The story is compelling. There's mystery there. The characters are already so rich. And it just pulls you in with episode 1. So if you haven't watched episode 1 yet and it's still up, definitely give it a watch. If you miss it, definitely go watch it on Amazon Prime. I'll be there to watch this series. They're going to be releasing episodes weekly, so I don't know if I'll do episodic reviews or we'll just do a full season review, but let me know what you want to see down in the comments below. Overall, I'd give this first episode, honestly, I don't really have any notes. I think I'd give it a 5 out of 5. It's pretty compelling. I've actually watched it 3 times at this point, and every time I watch it, I love it just as much as the last. There's just a lot going on, and there's a lot of depth, so every time I watch it, I find like something new, some little nuance from the characters, and I'm very excited to see more as we continue on this journey. That's all I have for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one, and until then, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye! And if you love when I talk about exciting, epic adventure stories, you need to check this out, because this was a journey.